John F. Kennedy, remembered as the 35th President of the United States, remains one of the most iconic leaders of the 20th century. His presidency, though tragically cut short, continues to inspire generations with a message of hope, courage, and responsibility. Kennedy is often remembered for his famous words during his inaugural address on January 20, 1961. "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country." These words, simple yet powerful, became a timeless call to civic duty and national unity. To understand the true weight of this statement, one must look at Kennedy's life, his rise to leadership, and the challenges he faced as president during one of the most turbulent times in modern history. Born on May 29, 1917, in Brookline, Massachusetts, John Fitzgerald Kennedy was the second son in a large Irish Catholic family. His father, Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., was a wealthy businessman and a U.S. ambassador to the United Kingdom, while his mother, Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, was deeply religious and dedicated to her children's education and discipline. Despite being born into privilege, John's early life was marked by chronic health issues. He suffered from scarlet fever as a child, and throughout his life, he battled severe back problems and Addison's disease. Yet, rather than allowing these struggles to define him, Kennedy cultivated a sense of resilience, humor, and determination that became essential traits of his political character. Kennedy's education at Harvard further shaped his worldview. His senior thesis, later published as the book Why England Slept, demonstrated his keen awareness of international politics and the failures of appeasement in the face of Nazi aggression. This early interest in world affairs prepared him for the challenges he would face as a wartime hero, a young congressman, a senator, and eventually the president. During World War II, Kennedy served in the U.S. Navy, where he commanded the PT-109 patrol boat. When his boat was struck by a Japanese destroyer in 1943, Kennedy displayed extraordinary courage by helping save his crew, even while suffering from serious injuries himself. His wartime heroism became part of his political legend, showing his ability to lead under pressure and his willingness to sacrifice for others. After the war, Kennedy entered politics, first as a congressman in 1946, then as a senator from Massachusetts in 1952. His political style was marked by eloquence, intelligence, and a youthful energy that contrasted with the older generation of leaders. In 1960, at just 43 years old, he became the youngest elected president in American history, defeating Vice President Richard Nixon in one of the closest elections ever held. Kennedy's Catholic faith, once seen as a political liability, was addressed directly in his speeches, where he promised separation of church and state while affirming his moral values. His victory marked a generational shift in leadership, symbolizing a new era of hope, progress, and ambition for America. As president, Kennedy faced immense challenges both at home and abroad. The Cold War with the Soviet Union was at its peak, and tensions escalated with events such as the failed Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba and the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. During the crisis, Kennedy's leadership, restraint, and ability to negotiate with Soviet Premier Nikita Khrushchev averted nuclear war. His calm yet firm approach reassured the American people and the world that leadership in the nuclear age required wisdom, not recklessness. Kennedy also launched bold initiatives such as the Peace Corps, encouraging young Americans to serve in developing nations. This initiative reflected his belief that service to humanity was an essential part of service to country. Domestically, Kennedy advocated for civil rights, though progress was gradual. He called for the end of racial segregation, supported legislation to guarantee equal rights, and sent federal troops to enforce desegregation when necessary. While much of the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 was passed after his death under President Lyndon B. Johnson, Kennedy's advocacy laid the groundwork for these historic changes. His speeches often challenged Americans to live up to their ideals, urging them to confront inequality and injustice. Another hallmark of Kennedy's presidency was his vision for space exploration. In 1961, he famously declared the goal of sending an American safely to the moon before the decade's end. This ambitious vision rallied the nation's scientific and technological communities, igniting a sense of wonder and competition with the Soviet Union. Kennedy understood that the space race was not just about science, but also about national pride, innovation, and progress. His words at Rice University in 1962, where he declared, "We choose to go to the moon, not because it is easy, but because it is hard, captured the spirit of American determination. Beyond policies and programs, Kennedy's charisma, style, and public presence elevated him to a cultural icon. Alongside his wife Jacqueline Kennedy, he brought elegance and glamour to the White House, which became known as Camelot in the public imagination. His press conferences, broadcast on television, revealed his wit, intelligence, and ability to connect with ordinary citizens. At a time when media was becoming central to politics, Kennedy mastered the art of communication, using it to inspire trust and optimism. Tragically, Kennedy's presidency ended on November 22, 1963, when he was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. The shocking event not only stunned America but also the world. Millions mourned the loss of a leader who represented youth, courage, and vision. His death left a sense of unfinished promise, yet his words and ideals lived on. The phrase, "Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country," became a guiding principle for civic engagement and patriotism, reminding future generations that democracy thrives when citizens take responsibility for its preservation. Today, Kennedy's legacy is debated and studied, but few can deny the enduring power of his speeches, his leadership during crisis, and his call to service. For students of history, Kennedy represents both the possibilities and fragility of leadership. For those seeking inspiration, he remains a symbol of youthful energy, vision, and courage in the face of adversity. His presidency lasted just over 1,000 days, yet within that short span, Kennedy reshaped America's role in the world and rekindled the belief that one leader's words could change the destiny of a nation. Ultimately, John F. Kennedy's life teaches us that leadership is not defined by longevity, but by impact. It is not measured solely in the achievements that are fully realized, but also in the dreams that are set in motion. His message continues to resonate, that the strength of a nation lies not just in what the government provides, but in what its people contribute. In times of challenge and uncertainty, Kennedy's words remind us to look inward and outward, to take responsibility, to dream boldly, and to act courageously. That is why, decades after his death, John F. Kennedy's voice still echoes in classrooms, in political debates, in community service programs, and in the hearts of those who believe that service is the truest form of patriotism.